Hello. So today I don't have a reading. Well, I do have a reading, but I mostly um, I was called to share my process when it comes to my dream work, and I'll explain kind of what that entails. This is something that like a method or uh, a process that I came up with. Obviously, it's using uh, certain tools that I did not come up with, or things that are not like revolutionary when it comes to working with your dreams, but it is my method. Um, and I'm sharing it because I think other people might be interested in doing some kind of dream work, and then sometimes you just don't know how to go at it. I will start by saying that the best thing that you could do when it comes to doing dream work is to step away from looking up what things mean in your dreams, like on the internet or in a book. It's better for you to document your dreams and interpret them yourself. And it's going to be hard at first, um, but the payoff is incredible. I'm telling you, it's going to get to a point where, and I've been doing this this is my second journal that I've been using for that. So I think it's been almost 3 months. Yeah, almost 3 months. And I now have dreams. And there's days that I don't dream, by the way. So that's another thing. But, anyways, so um, I have dreams. And while, I'm writing them down and everything like that, and then I pull a card and I do my thing, I get to the message of it, and sometimes the message of the dream comes a week later or a day later. Maybe 10 minutes after I'm done doing this, I get up and I go make myself breakfast, and boom, it comes in like the message as well. Um, what I'm trying to say is, but it also I've seen the progress where the more that I dedicate time to doing this, the more it seems to just naturally flow. The more I remember my dreams, the more it's also easier. You know how sometimes you wake up and you have a dream in your mind, like it's in your mind's eye. You can remember it right away, like without trying, right? And then you go about your day, you kind of forget, and you're like, oh, but I wanted to look that up, but I don't remember what it is anymore. That kind of like fog that like your dreams kind of like fall away. It Once you start working with your dreams, that goes away. It's easier for you to pull in what you were. I could go like 3 hours right after I wake up without right away getting to write down my stuff that I dreamed, and I'll still be able to sit here, go through my ritual, and it's because I have a ritual that then I am able to, like, it's almost like telling my mind, my body, my spirit, hey, we're here to write our dreams down, so let's bring them back into our mind's eye, and it happens. At first, I will say that you do have to get it. It has to be a habit for you, and you should start your habit, um, or this process as soon as you wake up. That is best, right? Because it is very clear in your mind everything that you dreamed. Um, don't I'm going to also say, like, when you're writing them down, don't um, don't try to figure them out in that moment. Just get it out of you. Just like it's almost like it becomes like a trance. You just write what happened. And sometimes you don't even have to write like specific, like play by play. But if you feel like doing that, you should, because there's a reason why. But sometimes you will kind of encompass the gist of the dream and mention certain things. Um, Okay, yeah. Let me go through the process. Okay, so this is my dream journal. You should keep one of those. Okay, it's vital here. You could do this. You could do this on your phone, right? You could write your dreams, like keep track of them digitally. I will say, it's going to be, if you have the possibility of writing them down, if that's something that's easier for you to do, not easier, but I should say, like, that you're capable of it, like, obviously, if your hands get really cramped up when you write too much, or you don't have the accessibility of getting a journal, but you have a phone, you could start with doing this electronically. But writing it, it's better because it's like a third connection. It's like a third way of like what I was saying, when let's say I wake up and I really don't have time to sit down and do my thing here when it comes to my dreams. When I do come back 3 hours, 5 hours, sometimes yesterday, for example, I woke up and I did not write down my dreams. I came to actually sit down and do this, I think at it was like 8 something in the afternoon and at night. So, but I still was able, and this is how it has been in my mind for a while to kind of do not tutorials, but just share my process when it comes to certain things, just because I feel like I never had, sorry, I'm moving the mic, but I never had somewhere that I could look up how to do this. Like, I kind of never had like a guiding a thing, guiding not just person, but like even like I don't know. I didn't have a guiding something that I could like look at a video, for example, and take what I could use to kind of start this process. I just had to develop it on my own, and it works. So I want to pass it on, basically. Okay, so journal. It's better to journal because there's that connection when you start writing, and some of you might resonate with this. I when I took notes in school, or like in general when I do my studies, now that I study like spirituality and stuff like that, I can read something, okay, or I can listen to something, okay, and I'll get some out of it. But if I write some notes down, I will never forget what I wrote down. Does that make sense? Like, I it becomes part of me. Like, I remember it better. I probably never have to go back to it to study it ever again. This will resonate with some of you because I already wrote it down. So by writing it, so I was listening and I wrote it, and it's almost like the writing became solid in my mind. Like, I kept it because I went through the process of actually writing the things down that I was gravitating to and the information that I found useful. And then it helps me keep it in an archive in my mind, if you will. So if some of you resonate with that, then you know the power of writing things down. Journaling is a great way to communicate with yourself, to decipher yourself, if you will. If you're on a spiritual journey and you're trying to learn more about yourself, that's a great way to start. If you want to start journaling in the sense of journaling your dreams, it's very helpful too. So this is why I want to make this video. I'm going around in circles, but it's like there's a lot to explain, if you will. But okay, so my dream journal, I work, so I write down my dreams, and then I use an oracle deck to pull one card. Or, sometimes I used to I started with 3 cards, and that was too much for me. So I put it down to one, and one is enough. But then I incorporated this book, which is actually tarot, because this is oracle. So this is a tarot book. I recommend this book highly. Okay, these are poems that she wrote based on each, excuse me, burp, confirmation. You should definitely get this book. I am the biggest fan. I shout her out whenever I can because it is amazing. So it's poetry. Let me find a page where I haven't written anything because I write stuff. She actually makes it so that you can write things on the side here, and I think that's super clever. Like, so I keep track of every day that I end up at a certain page. I write the date and anything that I feel like it's important. But for example, let's say I get card 46 from this deck, so I go to this page as well. And then the card, this, my dreams, and what I can like also gathered from the card that I got from the book of this is the deck that I'm using for this, the Shaman's Dream Oracle. Obviously, it's a dream oracle, and I got it because it makes sense to work with my dreams with this book. It's a great oracle. Oracle deck overall doesn't just have to be used for dreams, but I would also recommend this one. This is a really good oracle deck as well because there's a lot of information. It's well, while this gives you, oh my God, the fact that I turned to the same page. Are you kidding me right now? 46, confirmation. Okay. I love it when spirit shows up for me and like confirms that I'm doing the right things. Kind of, yeah. Anyways, synchronicities are important. So you see how there's a little bit about, and this is the card that I actually got yesterday. Like, I'm not shitting you. I will show you. Now I'm being called to show you. It's like, show your work. That's not it. But yeah, card 23. Please don't read myself. Card 23. It's right there. Okay. So this is a good oracle because let's say we go to one card here. So one card will have a lot of meaning. So essential meaning, the oracle's message, relationship message, prosperity, and protection. And I think this is good because if you're kind of like brand new to like your spiritual journey, or if you are brand new to like journaling, especially, it's and you're going to start by journaling your dreams. This is a good thing because it gives you a lot of perspectives. Let's say you had a dream about having a fight with someone, then the card that you pull from this deck, you can read everything. I suggest you read everything, and then you write down in your journal whatever you kind of feel like applies to you or whatever resonates with you that day. But then you could go to the section that's about relationships because you had a dream about fighting with someone, right? Having a disagreement with them. You go to relationships. If you had a dream regarding monetary problems, you go to the prosperity one. If you had a dream about being attacked, being followed, being, like whatever, like that, something weird, you go to protection. You know what I mean? Like, this is a good one. This is a good one for beginners who are trying to tap into the kind of like the unknown or their creativity or their imagination when it comes to deciphering things. Dreams are hardly ever, unless you have prophetic dreams. But honestly, I have prophetic dreams and they're never, some of them are verbatim, like bam, bam, bam. That's exactly what happened in my day-to-day life from my dream world, right? What happened in my dreams happens in real life. That happens sometimes, but most of the time, okay? This is coming from someone has had vivid dreams and like prophetic dreams, if you will, her entire life. I just didn't know that that was happening. Most of the times it is abstract symbolism, okay? And it is for you to decipher. And it's because your mind is a beautiful, wonderful place that speaks to you in a creative way. It's almost like your mind creates a story for you to decipher. It's a beautiful journey, and you'll see results in very short time. I'm telling you, I just started doing this. Not, it's gonna be 3 months almost, but I've been doing it every single day. And I have never skipped a day. And if I skipped a day, it has only happened once. And it's not because I felt guilty or like, don't ever do that again, don't ever skip a day. I just couldn't find the time, and that's okay. This could only, I suggest you only work with spirituality when you are in the right mental space, when you feel like doing it. Do not push yourself. This is the only place where you should not be pushing yourself, okay? Just because we have a lot of responsibilities in the 3D world, if you will, as far as things that we need to do. Spirituality is here to aid you, but when you are opening the door for it, don't push it. It's not going to feel good for you. I've tried that too, and it's never really worked for me. You have to make sure that you don't feel guilty if you have 3-4 days that you don't do this. Just like you should celebrate yourself whenever you do it 3 days in a row, and maybe you skip a day but then you continue, like that's okay. Okay, only do this when you want to, when you feel like you have the energy. Sometimes you won't. Sometimes maybe the dreams that you have are not dreams that you want to document, and that's okay too. Okay. But But I feel like the more that you do this, the more honest you become with yourself, and the easier it is to communicate with yourself, to write things down, to sit, to do this as a ritual, if you will. You kind of understand that you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your creative outlet, you owe it to your growth, to your well-being, if you will. Okay. Dream journal. So I these three things, right, are for dreams. And then this is my regular journal, which changes often because I also journal like outside of the dream world, if you will. I used to keep the dreams and the everything in one, but I decided it was a better um, it was better serving for me to keep my journaling in one side that I've always done, to and then my dreams to have their own space, right? Because this can get very cloudy, very metaphysical, very weird. And it's not that it doesn't fit in my regular day-to-day life, but it deserves its own space because it deserves it, basically. Okay, I don't know how else to explain that, but you can have just one journal and do everything in one journal. You could do that too. That's okay. Before I even, when I wake up, let me go through a scenario so that you understand, so I can actually give you like step by step of what I do. I wake up, right? If I need to use the bathroom, I do. If I need to go get water, I do. Sometimes I go get breakfast before I even do this, right? Whatever it is, I would suggest that when you first start, it's easier if you wake up and you right away write your dreams. I would suggest that's better in the beginning, at least I would say for the first 30 days. That's how it should be. You should, the first thing that you should do is write your dreams because they're going to escape you. Um, you'll forget a lot of them if you don't write them down right away. Um, but then again, I have this theory that the dreams that you do remember are the ones that you're meant to bring back with you. There are certain dreams, certain things that you do in your dream state, uh, whether that be um, astral travel, uh, interdimensional travel, I don't know. The, the dream world is a very vast place, and you have endless possibilities of what you do and not do there. So sometimes the adventures that you go on, I call it adventures, you don't need to bring back with you. You're not ready. You're not ready to remember those. When you are ready to remember those, they will come to you. You'll remember a dream that you've had. Let's say you had a dream today and you write only what you remember, but you know there's something else, but you don't remember it yet, right? That's okay. A week later, you'll be doing something and you will see a color that reminds you of that dream, and for some reason, boom, you get that message, you get that dream, and then you're like, oh, that's interesting. And you almost like you didn't write down the dream because now you have a dream journal, so you can go back and look, right? You kind of go back and you're like, I never wrote this down. So when did I have that dream? It's kind of like that. It's okay. You'll remember things when you're meant to remember them. You'll bring back things from the dream world with you to this, to your conscious reality, if you will. Whatever it is that you bring back is what you need to work with. Don't force yourself to remember every single thing. And if a dream eludes you and like literally you cannot remember it, it's okay. I've had days here where I knew I had dreams, but for the life of me, I could not remember. I couldn't put them together. It's like I saw them, but I didn't see them, and I just wrote down. I don't remember much. I remember dun 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 dun, and then I go and do my thing. And the cards and the book kind of give me a guidance for the day. They kind of make sense with me not remembering, if you will. Okay. The reason why my journal is here, even though we're talking about dream journals, is because I have here my daily affirmations that I say every single day. And I've been doing this for a really long time too. But this is close to a year. I would say officially, my affirmations started, I would say 8 months ago, but that I would just say them every single day. They're kind of like prayers. they're a mix of prayer, affirmation, and then protection ritual, if you will. I like to make sure that this is the first thing that I do. Um, some kind of, um, if you're going to have any affirmations or any prayer, I would suggest that you do invest in having one that is regarding protection. First and foremost, you should have a protection one. And then, secondly, if you want to add something a little better, you should have one of gratitude. The way that kind of looks, I'm not going to share mine. Obviously, they're very personal. I believe you need to come up with those. Whereas I know there's a lot of people that kind of give you a like affirmations or protection prayers or whatever in general. Those are good to like kind of get as a guiding, but then you should put in your own words. You should put in your own little things, right? To change it to make it your own. Because this is all about making things your own so that since they're yours, they're your own words, they're your own writing, it kind of, again, helps you connect. And that's what you're looking for here, right? You're looking for answers, you're looking for growth in a spiritual sense that then also transmits into your daily life. Like, you're not just doing this to be a spiritual being, you're doing this to kind of like better yourself and therefore, kind of like have a better, not just understanding of who you are, but in finding yourself, it's easier also to make connections, to come from a place of love, acceptance, not judgment. Yeah, so you should have a protection affirmations, or I wanted to say spell. You could call it that too. But you should say it every single day, especially before you touch tarot, before you touch oracles, before you do anything magical, if you will. So you could say something like, I am protected by pure love, by my guides, my spirit guides. Um, Thank you, and so it is. It could be as simple as that. And then you could have one for gratitude. Thank you for your, again, it's almost like you're asking for protection and then you're saying thanks for the protection. Or you could put it all together as well. Again, to each their own. You should just come up with a little something to say. And then you'll also see that things will come into your awareness about maybe you should add something else to your affirmation. And what I do is every time I finish one journal, so my affirmations are the first thing that are in my journal, okay? They're the first things. And after I say all of them, I write the date so that I know that I did it that day. It's like at the end of everything. But what I wanted to say is the more, like after you finish one journal, when you go into a new one, you obviously go to the first page, you write your affirmations that you want to say every day, and then you start journaling after that, right? I find that throughout my journals, there's an evolution of me adding a little bit more, or putting the affirmation, writing the affirmation down that I first came up with, but then adding a different one, like a second one, and then adding a third one, and then eventually you fall into a groove of having a couple. And if you want me to make a video about that, and I could just do like, I could do it when I finish this journal, which this journal is like more than halfway done almost, so it'll be soon. I can do a video about that, and we could do. I can walk you through how I set up a new journal, if you will, and how I set up a new journal is how I set up every journal that I have, and it kind of ties into this, anyways. It's like I'm working backwards, but so yeah, say your prayer, say your affirmation, say your protection. Light a candle if that's what you feel called to do. Burn some incense or cinnamon, or use some Florida water. Do whatever you do or you need to come up with a little ritual when it comes to protection, and then you're ready. Okay, then you're ready to do this. And then I would just say that you write. Let me cover this because this is stuff from today. But you come to your new page, right? And you write the date and the time that you woke up. I don't know why that's important, but it is. And it's always been for me very important. Also, I would mention throughout the night, if you're a light sleeper or someone that tosses and turns, if you're one of those person that looks at their phone to see what time it is right when you wake up, it's usually significant. And um, if you know that you won't remember when you wake up, you could take a screenshot and then you go back to sleep. But I like to write down, for example, right? So today is 1:20. I already did this, but 23. And then I woke up today at 5:34. Actually, Iris woke me up. Sometimes I also like to write how I woke up. Like if it was just me naturally, I would just leave it alone. But if it was like, for example, Iris woke me up today, she like nibbled on my hand. And she does that when my mom is not up early enough and she wants me to go feed her, because she's like on a timer. She's a cat, so she's very demanding when it comes to her foodies. But so I woke up at 5:34 and I wrote Iris woke me up. And then if I also remember that I woke up throughout the night, I would write like I woke up at 2:23, 5:05, like whatever it was. I didn't. um, just because I sometimes this is relevant for some reason. Okay, sometimes you get angel numbers, um, or you get like very synchronistic numbers. Like you woke up at 3:33. That's significant. Please write that down. Like you woke up at 2:22, 1:11, 1:11, or you woke up at 02:02. If my clock in my phone is on 24 hours, so I like that because I get like mirror numbers, or like it'll say 02:02, and I feel like that's better than 2:02 for some reason. I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, that's another tip that I have for you. And then you just go into writing your dreams. I write my dreams. Sometimes you know how like you know that you dream in like a sequence, like this dream came before this one and this one came before this one. I don't It could be relevant. This whole thing is intuitive. So if you feel like writing your dreams in a specific way, do that. For me, I will give you an example. I write my dreams. Whatever dreams comes forth first, I write it down. And then I don't explain much, and then I go into the next one, and then I go into the next one, and then I go into, like, I don't transition my writing. I just write one dream, and when I'm done with that one, I write the next one. And if it's just one dream that I remember, I just write, that dream, right? And then I go to my oracle. So I would put this away, and that I'm going to do with you today, back on camera. I have this bracelet that when I got this deck, for some reason, I got this bracelet at the same time, or I got this bracelet first, and then I got this deck. And when I was interviewing this deck, and because every deck that I get, I interview. There's just 5 questions that I ask it, and to get to know the deck, if you will. If you want a video about that, let me know too. I think I'm gonna make it anyways because when I get it next time I get a new deck, I'm gonna just film myself doing my interview because I think it's something that everybody should do as well. This is a tool, and it's a way of personalizing and getting to know it. Just like every deck kind of wants to be worked with for a specific reason. It's almost like and this is going to vary from person to person. Like I'm sure people use this deck, even though it's the dream oracle, they use it for something else. Okay, I just tend to like to use it for my dreams. It's not just because it's in the name, but it's just what I felt called to do. Anyways, since I got them out kind of like at the same time, and then I saw the back of this, and then I was like, that's interesting. So then I tied this bracelet to this deck, and I wear it when I'm reading with it. Just like I have other decks that like specific stones or crystals, and yeah, like again, this is very intuitive. You do whatever you feel called to. Okay, you don't have to wear a bracelet when you play with the cards, but I'm just explaining everything that I do. Anyways, so I wear it, and I wear it on my right hand because I'm a lefty. So I'm gonna need my left hand to write, and this bracelet is very uncomfortable to write with. Like it's just like whenever I used to wear a watch, I would notice that my wrist would hurt a lot, and it's because all the writing I was doing it like on top of a bracelet, and I didn't know that that's what it was, but now I know. So, and if you know lefties, and if you're a lefty, hello, welcome. And if you know lefties, hello, welcome, and you're lucky to know a lefty. But anyways, I we write very weird, like position wise. I turn my stuff like sideways. Oh my God, if you're left-handed as well, I'm so sorry that you can never find pens that work for you, journals that work for you. I can give you a tip. This journal is really good for left-handed people because it opens it opens very very wide. Like you could break the spine of this journal, okay? And it's better than this one. But I get whatever journals I feel called to whenever I see one. But this one's from Target. Let me show it to you. This one's from Target and it's really good. This is a really good journal for lefties. This is my second journal that looks exactly like this. I just colored in the little squares and stuff to make it set apart from the other one. And I think I'm just going to keep getting this one, but you know, it depends. I change it up all the time. The pages are really nice and soft. And I would suggest you just you get a pen that you like, you know. If you're a lefty, you always hunt for good pens, so just get a pen that feels right, that that is comfortable. Again, remember it's your tool as well, so you have to kind of like what you're writing in. You have to write. You have to like what you're writing with. You have to like what you're playing with, what you're deciphering your dreams with. You could also decipher dreams with tarot. For me, I wouldn't be able to just pull one card when it comes to tarot because it won't feel like enough. Whereas the oracle, I don't know, the imagery gives me a lot of information, and then on top of that, there's that book that has a lot of information too. So, okay, so I'm just going to tap into my dreams again because I've been talking about different stuff. And yeah, let's see what the card is today. So I usually do like, I pull a card and then I write down what it is and I look at it for a while and I see if it tells me a message without me having to look in the book. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And then I read another section for what the book says. And then I go into this book. So let's see. If we get card 46, that would be really funny. So I went to that page. But it was card 23 yesterday. So I don't know if we're going to get that card again. Okay, let's just see. So basically I just ask, you know, what's the card of the day that goes with my dreams? And I shuffle until I feel like I'm ready to get a card. And sometimes the card flies out, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I pull one. Sometimes I look at the bottom of the deck, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I get one card, sometimes I get two, sometimes I get three. Again, it's an intuitive thing, okay? I'm just going to do this today. So, ooh, I like that. Right use of power. We're going to look at the bottom of the deck. Interesting, because this card flew out when I first started doing this. And then I was like, oh, I have to record it. And then I put it back and Garden of Venus, rest and renewal. Okay, beautiful. All right, so we're going to leave that there. And so this is where my weird angles come in, okay? So it's number 8. Absolutely adore this card. This card always has so much to say. It's also very when it comes to like if you're writing, I don't know if that's so dark for some reason. When it comes to the dream world, you know that you see scary things, right? And you see faces, but you don't see faces completely. Most of the time you won't, and this just reminds me of that. Like some weird ass shit that you would see in your dreams, right? A floating head with a crown on it, arms. The fact that this is the card that came out today. I'm being drawn to the crescent moons here, the dragonfly, the fact that it looks like a very old timey design. What is that called? Like plaster design or something. Even the arms and the crossing of the hands is very interesting. Is it like a mudra? Is it like a specific position for a reason? That's interesting. The gold is very cool. So I would write down like whatever feels right. Um, right now I'm just so that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, you could just watch me do that. I don't think I'm gonna speed up the video or anything. I'm gonna leave things very organic here. Um, and I'm sorry if I misspell things, or I'm not sorry. It's I will misspell things. I will write things weird. That's just what it is. Okay. No judgment, please. Yeah, there's a lot of jewels here. I'm being called to that for some reason today. Obviously, this also comes with the message of the crown chakra, right? Like, but the curtain being on the side is it's like it's opening up. There's purple here too. It probably won't show up in the camera, but there's a lot of purple here, and that's the crown. And third eye, actually. There's like this, I've never realized that before. There's like gold. You know what that reminds me of? That's so interesting. The gold, right, like coming down the arms. It's have you ever like this is probably for my Hispanic people. When you were little, or not even when you were little, like just in your regular adult life as well. You grab a mango, you peel it, and you're eating it, and it's so juicy that it like runs down your to your elbows. Like, yeah, I have memories of eating mangoes like that. My brother also, when he was little, he would like my mom would give him a mango seed and he would just devour it, but like everything would be mango, like his face, his arms, everything. My grandma also, like it's so interesting that's coming through now. It reminds me of my grandma too, because in Cuba we have these little tiny mangoes, or like I'm telling you, it's probably the size of this, okay? But they're very plump and they're super juicy. It's so, the seed is tiny, obviously the mango is tiny, and they're super juicy. And like how people would eat them was you squish them while they were still, they had their oh my god, what is that word? You wouldn't peel them, okay? They had their skin on. You would squish it because that became like a mango juice inside, and then you would bite the top of it and like suck on it, and like then you peel it, and then you eat the seed. You eat around the seed as well. Um, but you will get very dirty. Like the whole point was being like eating with your hands, like not caring that it was like running down your arm, if you will. Yeah, that's interesting that that's coming through, and I'm even sharing that. That might resonate with some of you. This is how this is, right? This is how this works. It's kind of like sometimes the card and what it brings forth for you. First of all, you won't have to write all of that down. You just write keynotes and then you'll remember. But I sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with your dreams. I think I can tell you that much. But okay. I just heard purple rain, so I'm gonna write that too. Dragonfly. Sometimes I also like draw what I kind of see because the crescent moon is just calling my attention, so I just have to I have to do that. Um, Sometimes I also just feel called to write down like describe the card for some reason. That happens too. All right, I think I'm ready to. And then so this is the card, right? So this is card, and then I go book. So because now I want to decide, like I want to separate what I intuitively saw from like what the book says. I don't want to. I also it's easy for me to like, excuse me. I don't want to kind of like plagiarize or whatever. Like I also want to see like what I got, and then I compare it to kind of like what the book says. And yeah. All right, let's go to page 8. So then the book has a lot of more information. I tend to, just how you see it says Crown Games right use of power is usually there too, right? But I write the other things that are not on the card because not the card doesn't have everything. So that's the first thing that I do. But again, this is you should do this intuitively. You write down whatever you feel like you should write down, okay? Not but again, I'm just sharing my process because maybe you want to do it this way. So it says leadership, responsibility, accountability, right use of power. That's interesting because responsibility and accountability is common. Like, what I wrote is intentions turn things to gold. Like it's not literal gold. It could be for some aspects or whatever, or like fortune or like monetary things, but it's also turn things to gold in the sense of intentions can turn things to a precious solid thing that is doesn't rust, doesn't weather like gold, like that's kind of you could again it's very symbolic. What you write down becomes something else, it's not verbatim word for word, if you will. So yeah, then I would just read and then I would write down whatever I feel called to. Sometimes I highlight, and I feel like I'm gonna do that today. These highlighters are, you can erase them, so I think they're really cool because if I ever want to erase everything that I highlighted in this book, I can, because they erase with friction. You see, that's pretty cool. I feel like that left a mark, but it's better than. But I have pages where I have highlighted with like real highlighters, I think. Oh, maybe not this book. Okay. I don't know if I want to read this with you guys. I always feel so self-conscious when I read out loud. I think everybody does. I guess I'll just, I hope this is good lighting so you can read it yourself. I want to check how long is this video already. Oh my god. Okay. All right, so let me just read and see what I want to take from this. That's interesting. This hit home right there. Can you let go of the need to rescue others? Lead with humility while letting others discover their way home. Wow. Wow. To power, steward wisely. Let's give from the divine, not for the ego. Wow. Yeah, this is the best part right there. It says, ask for guidance. It will come when you choose compassion over your own goals and desires. When you stop caring about who wears the crown, true success and influence appear for you. Talk about. I love how this, honestly, the fact that I decided to record this and then this is the card that comes out, right? Where I'm here trying to like kind of teach people what I do, but at the same time, I'm not trying to come at it from a place of like this is the end all be all and this is how everybody should be doing this. Um, I think I've mentioned that before, right? Like you should take whatever resonates and apply it to yourself, and if this doesn't resonate with many, that's okay too. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like that. This is literally what the card is talking about. Like, I really don't care who wears the crown and who's better at this or not. Like, I'm just sharing my thing. It's okay. Like, it's literally what I felt when I wanted to do this. So that's very interesting to me. Um, I don't think I'm gonna write everything down. I'm definitely gonna keep this one, true power. Ah. I think that's very important. True power is steward wisely, for it is given from the divine, not from the ego. It's like whatever you pass along, make sure that you're passing it along because um, you truly just want to help other people. It's not because you want to be admired for it, right? Um, and I'm gonna write this too, even though it's really long. It really resonates with me today. And I've gotten this card before. I know I've gotten this. Oh, sorry. I know I've gotten this card before, but for some reason, I don't know if I wrote that. I probably have already, but we're doing it again. It's okay. I think this is a very key thing here. And this like it literally can apply to so many things in like the real life, like world, not just when it comes to spirituality. When you stop caring about who wears the crown, true success and influence appears for you. and you don't even have to go into the true success appears for you. It's when you stop worrying about, when you stop caring about who wears the crown, period. Like, I think that's a great way to approach things. Like, you don't need a title to tell you who you are, just like you don't need other people's approval to reaffirm who you are, to tell you who you are. And then when you're helping others, um, you don't care who wears the crown, or like who, quote unquote, is more, could be, again, more powerful than you or not. You just care about sharing your thing, and you move on, like your creation or whatever. And then I the last thing would be this book. Now I have to see, because in this book I've written a lot of stuff, and I know I've gotten page 8 before, so, and their personal stuff on the side here. So let me show it to you like this. So then page 8, have I gotten this page before? I have. So I got this page. See, that's why I keep track of it, because I've gotten this page. I got it on January 3rd of this year. So that's interesting. Yeah, I did that. Because I usually do that too. Like, I would section off a little piece of what I feel really called to me from the whole poem. I don't write the whole poem down. So, wait a minute. I have to show you the poem, right? So I have to cover this with something. Oh my God, this is like playing. Let me cover it with this card. One of my favorite cards. Okay. I hope that this is readable, if that's a word. Okay. So it says, it's temperance. I love temperance. So temperance is, oh, now I'm going to have to look for it in the tarot, but it's about healing. It's about balance. It's about literally the right use of power, which is, I guess, the message today. Okay. Dip your toes into the water. Getting a taste of what's to come will fuel your passion to tread on. You see two paths also clearly, but the third one, the one in between, reveals itself once you rise to the challenge of finding balance. To create what you desire, mix your options until you find your fire, which is interesting because temperance, this is, I'm telling you, she did a great job interpreting and like channeling tarot, because every specific card, because temperance is literally like two cups, like one feeding the other, and it's like it is mixing your options. It is about finding your way, if you will. It is about, like this said, ask for guidance. It will come when you choose compassion over your own goals and desires. Kind of like that, like so synchronistic. I'm being drawn to this. You see two paths also clearly, but the third one, the one in between, reveals itself once you rise. So yeah, once you acquire that right use of power, it's like you encounter this third path. That's interesting. It's very interesting. So then I just write tarot book, and then I guess you could also do this with another book. Like, I have another book that I really like to use. Like, it's the book of quotes, and I go to that like whatever number I got of the card. Excuse me. I will go to that page and then write down that quote, because usually it also like ties into the reading or the whole message, if you will. Ooh, beautiful. just have to write down the date. So I also write it on the side, like the day that I got it. Obviously, even though I write it there, but um, and yeah, that concludes my dream work. I usually don't do anything else for this. I I close the book. I say thank you. I take off the bracelet, and that's all she wrote. Like literally, that's it. um, I don't think this usually doesn't. Well, I guess it does take. I do this for like 30 to 45 minutes, an hour, depends. Sometimes I have a lot to write. Excuse me. Um, I will say today was a very light-hearted message. Sometimes the writing down my dreams makes me cry. The card that I get, and then the things that says in the book makes me cry. Um, this book would make me cry because of the synchronicities as well. Oh, I forgot to write. Shit. So I don't just write tarot book. I also write that it was the Temperance card because that's significant. I feel like looking for the Temperance card for some reason. I'm gonna leave it here, but let's just see if we can find it. Now I'm curious to see where it is in the deck for some reason. I feel like there's a message for me there too. That's interesting. Again, do things as you're being called to. Don't second guess your intuition. Like when you get that intuitive hit of like doing something, it's like do it. The fact that it's like, oh, there it is, there it is. Okay, so we have the Fool. That's interesting. We have the Fool, Temperance, the Moon, and Justice after it. That's crazy. The fact that Temperance is between the Moon and the Fool. The Moon is about dreams. This is so synchronistic. Oh my God. Wow. I'm like mesmerized now. The dream world, the hidden things, right? It's like this scenery is behind here. It's like, it's literally behind it. You come from the dream world and then you step here into, you're in the real world now, right? This is air energy, so that's interesting too. No, I'm sorry, fire energy. Air, fire. I don't know who this angel is. Is it Angel Gabriel? I think it is. I'm not sure. Um, but you see how like there's a foot outside, right? There's a foot in the water, and then there's the two cups. It's like you fill your own cup. You with the crown. Oh my God, the fact that the crown is like lit up. It takes me back to the card that I got, which is Crown Games. That's interesting. Holy shit. And then the Fool was like stepping into this scenery, if you will, with a dog, one of the dogs from here. It's like I get it. So the message is like whatever you carry from the dream world is big, it's vast, it's a lot of symbolism. You know, like you could interpret this in many ways. This is a sun, but it's a moon. You know, it's like what are these things? You know, I don't know what that is. Like there's so much, right? There's that pond again, right? So you're the Fool who comes from this place with very little. You only take from the dream world what you can carry, if you will, and then you swish it back and forth and you make meaning and you make healing from it. That's beautiful. That's literally the what I've been doing with my dream work. That was my intention all along. Just get to know myself a little better, if you will. And it happens. I can tell you that it does. It really does. It's worked for me, and uh, you know, I'm like a normal person, you know. So yeah. All right. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it through the whole thing, and I hope it gives you a little bit of inspiration or makes you like dip a toe, just like the Temperance dip a toe into doing this. And like I said, don't feel like discouraged if you start doing it and then you stop or whatever it might be. Just you could try it out, and then I would just give yourself a goal of I'm gonna do it for 15 days, or I'm gonna do it for a week if you cannot do 15 days, right? And then if it feels good, if you see some kind of results, if you kind of like that you have a routine and you have a little something in place that you it's also good when you go back to certain dreams and you read them and you see how it ties into the epiphany you just had, like it feels good to have confirmations that come from your own world, right? Your mind, your own, it's your dream world. So you getting confirmations from there, it is if you want to tie it on being confirmation from the divine, obviously, you do the card section of it, but your actual dreams and the meanings that you find for it, they come from you, and that becomes a very powerful connection that you have with your psyche. Okay, and you owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself to have that connection, because you dream for a reason. There's a reason why you have dreams. Sometimes it's to just have pleasant, beautiful things happen in the dream world, and it's like an escape. But even those have meaning behind them, right? Um, so yeah, I hope you give this a try. And if you have any questions, like things that I probably did not forgot to mention because I didn't have a plan, this just came about. I literally, after I wrote down my dreams and I was about to do my card stuff, for some reason I was like, oh no, I have to record this. So I probably missed some stuff that people would have questions about. Just leave it in the comments and I'll get back to you. Or if you don't want to leave it in the comment because you feel it's like too personal, you could email me. I'm not gonna share your email with people or anything like that. Um, so yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.